Millionaire's son had only 3 minutes to live, until a poor single dad did the unthinkable. The sirens were the first thing I heard. Then my heart beat, louder, faster, like time itself was trying to outrun me. I was standing in the middle of a highway drenched in rain, watching smoke curl from the wreckage. My car, what was left of it, burned quietly. Metal twisted into a scream that never made it out. Inside, my son wasn't breathing. The paramedics shouted, their hands moving faster than my thoughts. 3 minutes. We have 3 minutes before... Before what? Before the silence becomes permanent. I remember looking up at the flashing lights, thinking, this is how everything ends. Not with a grand fall, but with a whisper, a heartbeat fading into the night. And then, out of nowhere, a man appeared. Torn shirt, mud on his face, barefoot. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he was. He didn't look at me, he looked at my son, like he recognized him, like something in that small, lifeless body belonged to him too. He pressed his hands on my son's chest, eyes closed, whispering words I couldn't understand. And for the first time that night, the world went silent. Hours later, the hospital lights flickered against white walls that smelled like antiseptic and regret. They said my son would live, that his heart had stopped for exactly 2 minutes and 43 seconds. 2 minutes and 43 seconds, the time it took for a stranger to bring him back. I thanked him, offered money. He refused. I didn't do it for you, he said quietly. I did it for him. His voice was steady, controlled, like a man who had already lost everything once before. There was something about the way he looked at my boy, something too familiar, too intimate. When he turned to leave, I saw it, a bracelet hanging loosely from his wrist. It was small, plastic, blue, the same kind I'd once seen on my wife's nightstand years ago, before she'd thrown it away, calling it junk from an old friend. That night, I couldn't sleep. My wife sat beside our son, tears in her eyes. But I couldn't stop replaying his words. I did it for him. Who was he? And why did it feel like he'd saved someone who was his to begin with? Days passed. My son healed. My wife smiled again. But the quiet in me grew louder. I started noticing things, little fractures in the life I thought was perfect. The way my wife looked away when I mentioned the man. The way she tensed when I said his name. I didn't even know his name, not until I found his file. His name was Ravi Malik, a mechanic, widower, father to a boy who died in the same hospital 5 years ago. Cause of death, heart failure. My son was born that same week. My hands trembled as I compared the records, the timelines, the blood types. My son's blood was AB negative, mine was O positive. My wife's was A. It shouldn't have been possible. I didn't explode. I didn't shout. I smiled. A quiet, hollow smile that tasted like ash. The next day, I took a sample of my son's toothbrush, sent it for a private test. And every night I watched my wife sleep beside me, peaceful, unaware. The woman I'd built my empire for. The woman who had given me a son that might never have been mine. The results came in at dawn, a single sheet of paper, 4 words that ended 15 years of my life. I read it once, then again until the numbers stopped meaning anything. When she walked into the room, I didn't speak. I simply handed her the envelope. Her fingers trembled as she read it. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Finally, she whispered, "I'm sorry." The sound of that apology didn't break me. It only confirmed what I already knew, that she'd made peace with her betrayal long before I discovered it. "Who is he?" I asked. She didn't answer. She didn't need to, because I already knew. The poor man who saved my son's life wasn't a stranger. He was his father. I waited until night to visit him. His home was small, walls cracked with time. His son's photograph hung above an empty bed, a faded boy with the same eyes my son had. When he saw me, he didn't flinch. He knew why I was there. "You knew," I said. He nodded. I didn't mean for it to happen. She was lonely. I was broken. The air between us was thick, heavy with truth neither of us wanted. "I wanted to hate you," I told him. He met my gaze. "Then do it." But I couldn't, because hatred felt small compared to what I felt. Envy, maybe. Or loss. He looked down, voice breaking for the first time. When I saw him dying that night, I couldn't lose him again. Silence. Just the two of us, breathing through everything we'd both lost. Finally, I said the only thing that mattered. "You saved my son. So now you'll have to live knowing he'll never know who you are." That was my revenge. Not to destroy him, but to leave him alive, carrying the weight of love he could never claim. Weeks later, my wife left. No words, no goodbyes. Just a note that said, "I'm sorry again." I didn't chase her. I didn't need to. My son, our son, grew stronger each day. I watched him play, laugh, dream, and I wondered how much of him was me, and how much was the man who'd saved him. I bought Ravi a garage. No one knew it was from me. He fixed engines, I fixed hearts. Both of us pretending we hadn't lost everything. Sometimes I drive by his place. I see him standing there, oil-stained hands, eyes hollow. He doesn't look at me, and I don't look at him. We both understand. Some truths don't need to be spoken. Some debts can't be repaid. Some loves are too painful to destroy. So you keep them alive in silence. And every night before I sleep, I hear those sirens again. The sound of the night I lost my son and found the truth that would haunt me forever.